I never thought I'd be in France on Anzac Day to attend the dawn service. So many Australians sacrificed their lives in the First World War. My great uncle was one of them. His name was William Allan Irwin, D.C.M. But he was forgotten for close to 100 years. I'm here on behalf of my family, pay my respects and follow the footsteps of my great uncle. Proud Gomeroi man. My name is Peter Milliken. I'm a Gomeroi man from the northwest of New South Wales. My family's the Allan family from Walhallow. They were there before the Aboriginal Protection Board turned it into a mission. Controlled by a mission manager. They had to see him before they could leave the mission. My grandparents, Elsie and Harry, lived in Walhallow. Harry's brother, William Allan Irwin, served in World War I. My grandparents had 11 children all up, and the youngest of them all, my Uncle Merv, is still alive today.
So what's that?
Shearing is a big thing in my family.
You reckon you could still throw one?
Yeah, no, not now.
William and his two brothers, Harry and Jack, were gun shearers, and those boys were more or less joined at the hip.
I reckon when he's walking down the street, he'd look at himself in the mirror and he'd say, "Who's that good-looking shearer there?" He used to say to himself, you know. His uncle told me that.
William was away shearing, and when he come home, the girl that he was going to marry had married another fella. And then he decided he was going to go off to this war. He signed up at a time when Aboriginal people weren't permitted to enlist. To get through, he changed his last name from Allan to Irwin. My grandfather found out that his brother had enlisted and jumped on a horse and rode there in 3 days. When he got there, the boat didn't stop. Never seen his brother again. On August 31st, 1918, William took out 3 machine guns, captured 15 to 20 men, singly handed, and was mortally wounded, taken out the 4th. William was 40 years old. As of next of kin, my grandfather, Harry, received William's Distinguished Conduct Medals.
Do you remember much about the First World War?
My husband's brother, when he was killed over it.
What was his name?
William. They sent the medals to Harry Myers.
Have you still got that?
No, because the manager, Mr. Paul was his name, he asked Harry for the medals. Well, he never ever gave them back. And when he asked him for them, he said they were lost out of the school. Couldn't find them.
Oh, shocking.
Yeah.
Years later, the family bought replica medals as a replacement.
No one mentioned him. Why? They even have what they call this travelling show that comes around that shows all the soldiers and that. His name never there.
His photo's not there. Their photos are there. I used to go looking around and see if I could see him. No. No, he's not recognised. No, I don't.
My father did a lot of research into William. He was a bit outraged, I guess, that you know, there wasn't the recognition there for Aboriginal soldiers. The Victoria Cross would have been something he deserved. Up until this day, there's never been a Victoria Cross awarded to an Aboriginal man.
I heard there was an exhibition on with a fellow by the name of Joe Flick. Joe had been going to France for over 10 years and he's created awareness about the Aboriginal soldiers in France.
It's estimated that nearly 1,200 Aboriginal men and one woman enlisted in World War I. They weren't wanted. The Australian Defence Act of the Australian Infantry didn't want them.
It wasn't their war, wasn't our war. Yet they were willing to volunteer and sacrifice their lives for this country.
So many of our mob and so many other Australians will never get to go and visit these graves. It's going to be a great pleasure to take a descendant of William Allan Irwin, D.C.M, across to see his grave, to stand in front of his grave. That spiritual experience of connecting his spirit with William's spirit, and I'm sure Peter will take that experience back for him and his families.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Merci beaucoup. Aboriginal soldiers lie in this cemetery here. And for years and years, you and your descendants have looked after them. And you cared for them as if they were your own family.
We're on the other side of the world and here they are respected, the Aboriginal. They're beautiful people, every one of them. I wasn't expecting any of this.
We are so grateful for what your ancestors did.
When I learned the first time about the Aboriginal soldiers, I was very curious. I wanted to know more. I am Marie Paul. I live in Villa Bretonneux since more than 20 years. During the First World War, Villa Bretonneux was completely destroyed. 80% of the village was destroyed. We lost a lot of heritage, you know, terrible. The memory of the Australian soldiers is very important in VB. Because of them, we can live in freedom.
These are for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Nous sommes heureux de vous accueillir à Villers-Bretonneux. Beaucoup de vos compatriotes sont venus combattre et beaucoup d'entre eux y ont laissé leur vie. C'est pour cela que nous n'oublierons jamais l'Australie.
I've got no idea. I can't speak French other than wee manure, and that's about it.
Peter, is it?
Peter, Milliken, and I'm from Australia. William Allan Irwin come to this town back in 1918. He died not far from here. Joe knows where we are. I don't know where we are.
I think Joe opened the eyes of the French over there with the Aboriginal soldiers in France. Joe's pop, Mick Flick, also served in World War I. Sadly, when he come back home, the Aboriginal soldiers were discriminated against.
When Pop came back from the war, every Anzac Day, we used to go with him and he'd go and march. And he'd march down the street with his mate and he'd come back to the club and they'd all say, "Come on, Mick, we're going to have a beer, mate." And they'd stop him at the front door and say, "Sorry, Mick, if you go to around the back, mate, we'll pass a beer out the back window for you." And he put up with that since his return to Australia in 1919. While he was in the trenches, he was just a mate. They fought together, they looked after each other, and they buried each other. To come back to Australia and to be treated completely different, all because of colour.
Joe built many friendships with the people of D.C.M. He introduced me to a close friend of his, George, who ran a local museum there.
So he took me around to a lot of places. And
Je suis fier des cadeaux qui proviennent des descendants des soldats aborigènes. Il n'y en a pas ailleurs de ces objets. Alors, je suis fier de mon drapeau aborigène. La couleur rouge représente la terre. Alors, la couleur noire représente le peuple. Et le jaune, c'est le soleil, bien entendu.
Four medals.
Four medals.
For this
For this man here. I'm leaving these here on behalf of...
J'espère toucher les jeunes générations et transmettre le devoir de mémoire pour qu'on n'oublie jamais l'Australie et tous les autres peuples qui ont combattu à nos côtés.
When the 33rd Battalion arrived in France, we're just over 1,000 men strong. The battalion lost over 400 men. I think William did what he did because he didn't want to see any more of his mates die. There's no glory in war. That's how I see it.
Peter.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hello.
Two students.
Peter's great uncle, William Allan Irwin, D.C.M.
D.C.M, wow.
Oh, well, they never spoke about this fella because, I believe because just because he was Aboriginal and they didn't want a black hero. That's the reason I believe he didn't get the BC.
What Bill in the trace? So that's the first rifle to use smokeless cartridges, which was a massive revolution at the time.
Smokeless?
Smokeless, yeah. A wine bottle.
Yeah, I've seen them. You drinking on the job, were you?
Thank you very much.
Murray Paul was the most helpful person I've ever come across. She helped organise the seminars so more people in the Somme could hear about William's story. I didn't expect that many people to be interested. In Australia, I've never been invited to speak about William's story. Kamikazes on these motorbikes.
Ça va être perdu.
Donc nous sommes ensemble cet après-midi dans le cadre de l'hommage qui sera rendu au soldat aborigène australien William Allan Irwin, D.C.M.
What started me off on this journey was a friend of mine saying, he'll be in this book called The Great War, written by Les Carline. He never mentioned one Aboriginal soldier. I said, jump on the computer and punch in my uncle. There was only 2 lines on my uncle. This is the machine gun that William took out. 450 rounds a minute that machine gun could fire. He was twice wounded, William Allan. They shipped him back to England twice, brought him back, threw him straight back into war. And on the 3rd time he died. The family's proud.
You can feel your emotion, it's incredible. We are with you, we are with your heart, no problem.
Yep.
Je pense que ça a dû être terrible pour William Allan Irwin, terrible d'être ici, si loin de son pays, si loin des paysages australiens, de sa famille, de son mode de vie, et de se retrouver dans un pays complètement dévasté, face à l'horreur de la guerre. Je ne sais pas comment il a pu supporter ça, comment il a pu ne pas être complètement désorienté, complètement dépourvu. J'imagine que si j'avais été à sa place, ça aurait dû être vraiment terrible pour moi, vraiment.
What is it?
That is a shrapnel ball.
Yeah, right.
There were millions of these lead balls scattered across the Western Front at the end of the First World War.
Pretty amazing, you just found
That
it there and
is
then.
just laying there from
Somebody
over 100 years
ago.
ago.
I might take that back to Australia.
They should be all right, as if you... Not sure if they'd let it in or not, but because it's got earth on it, so...
Yeah.
Right, so this is where William came in and took out 3 of these machine gun posts. So he would have got up to the edge of the wood here, and then he was wounded in the attempt to take out the 4th one.
Yeah.
Following his wounding, he was then evacuated back, and following day, sadly, he died of his wounds in the dressing station at Doe. Over that 3-day period, Australian forces here suffered 3,000 casualties.
Yeah, right.
If he hadn't have done that, that figure could have been higher.
Do you think he deserves the BC?
Looking at what he did there were VCs awarded for less.
Yeah.
There were cases where people attacked 1 machine gun post and were awarded the VC.
Yep.
He attacked 3 and attempted a 4th.
Pretty heroic sort of a bloke to do what he did.
Yep.
I think all he wanted to do was get home.
Yep.
The way he's playing at me, he still wants to get home. I hope when I walk into that cemetery I can feel where he is. I want the spirits to take me to him. I think that's part of all Aboriginal people, got a feeling.
There he is, mate.
Yamagaya Naya. Naya, Yada, Gidya, Ma. Winanaya. Gomeroi people. Gaya, Gaya Ga. Gabaninga, which is the Aboriginal language for thanking you for us being here. This man hasn't read about or heard that language for a while.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Au coucher du soleil et le matin, nous nous souviendrons d'eux. Nous nous souviendrons d'eux. N'oublions pas.
Thank you.
Souvenir français.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll see you maybe next year.
You're coming back? Is it good to say that?
Oh, I'd like to, yeah. Yaluu, Yaluu, which means later. We'll speak to you later. Yeah. There's no goodbyes in Aboriginal. Family will love this. Yaluu. You're the last standing, Uncle.
Yeah.
It was a big thing for us to be able to soul there in between him two brothers, alongside of one another.
Great to see that some of the young ones are all there. It'll be great for them to know this sort of history, which is something we never had the opportunity until later in life.
So I hope that more and more Australians start to understand and acknowledge that Aboriginal people willingly went and fought and died for Australia.
Ce que je souhaiterais dire à la famille de William Allan Irwin, D.C.M, c'est qu'elle peut être fière de son ancêtre, qu'elle doit continuer à être fière de son ancêtre. It's not finished for them, I think. I want to tell them he was a hero.
He saved the lives of many men. Not one, not two, hundreds. I'll stay with this until we get the VC. His time's coming.